Welcome back to another deep dive with us.
It's great to be back.
Today we're going to be talking about something pretty epic.
Yeah.
We are going to ancient Greece
Okay.
to uncover the story of the rise of the Olympians. Now, this isn't just another mythology story. It's got power,
Oh, yeah.
betrayal,
Definitely.
and some pretty major cosmic shakeups.
Absolutely. Themes that we see throughout history.
Yeah. And some of these elements of the story are just wild. We have prophecies that are haunting a king,
Yeah.
a mother's desperate attempt to save her kid,
Yes.
and a war that shakes the entire cosmos.
It's pretty intense. We should probably start with the reign of Cronus, the youngest of the Titans.
Okay.
He came to power in a pretty dramatic way. He overthrew his own father, Uranus, with the help of his mother, Gaia.
Okay, so kind of a messed up family dynamic there. You can imagine Thanksgiving dinner with that family.
Right. But Cronus's victory came with a pretty chilling price. He gets a prophecy that he too will be overthrown by one of his children.
That's got to cause some anxiety.
Okay.
So what does he do? Does he, try to be a better dad and avoid this whole overthrow?
He chooses a more extreme solution.
Okay.
He swallows each of his children as they are born.
So like the opposite of a good dad.
Pretty much.
That is seriously messed up.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about him and about power?
It's really about control. And he
Yeah.
goes to any means to get it. And that kind of control is rooted in fear, not harmony.
So it's not just power, but how you use it.
Exactly.
This brings us to Zeus,
Yes.
the child who would ultimately challenge Cronus. Now, his mother, Rhea, she had seen a lot of loss.
Definitely.
5 of her children swallowed by her own husband.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Zeus, she decides she's going to fight back.
With the help of Gaia, they come up with this plan to save her 6th child. They secretly take Zeus to a cave on Mount Ida,
Oh, okay.
where he's raised by nymphs and a divine goat named Amalthea.
Wait, hold on. I just have to say a magical goat named Amalthea is pretty awesome.
Yeah. She's a pretty cool character.
But how do you keep a baby god secret from someone as powerful as Cronus?
Okay, so they had these warriors called the Curates.
Oh.
And they would dance and clash their shields outside the cave
Okay.
just to cover up baby Zeus's cries.
Clever. And what about Cronus? He fell for that.
Rhea gave him a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes.
Oh, no.
Told him it was Zeus.
Oh, my God.
And he swallowed it whole, blinded by his paranoia.
That's got to be hard to digest. So this bought Zeus some time to grow up, to learn about his heritage and what happened to his siblings.
Right.
I can't even imagine the anger he must have felt toward his dad.
Oh, absolutely. But Zeus was smart. He knew that brute force wasn't going to be enough to defeat Cronus.
Yeah.
He needed a plan. He needed allies. So he goes to Metis,
Okay.
the Titaness known for her wisdom and cunning.
Wait, a Titan siding with Zeus
Yeah.
against her own kind. Why would she do that?
Well, not all Titans agreed with Cronus's role. Some, like Metis, wanted to see a different kind of leadership, one that Zeus represented.
Okay, so this isn't black and white. Good versus evil. There's more going on here. So what do they plan?
Instead of like a head-to-head fight, they decide to use a little trickery. Metis brews a potion that will force Cronus to disgorge his children.
Okay.
And Zeus, being Zeus, he loved disguises. He infiltrates Cronus's court.
Well, this is about to get good.
Yeah,
A face-off between a father and a son.
definitely.
Betrayal, ambition, and a magic potion. What could go wrong?
And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Awesome. I can't wait. So last time we left, Zeus, disguised, at his father's court, about to deliver a potion with some pretty wild side effects.
Yeah, a really pivotal moment. Cronus, totally arrogant, totally clueless, accepts the potion thinking it's some kind of gift, like something to make him even more powerful.
It makes you think, did Cronus even trust anybody?
Yeah.
Or was he constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop?
Yeah.
Always afraid someone was going to betray him.
I think the prophecy really messed with his head.
Yeah.
Created this atmosphere of suspicion, paranoia.
Yeah. So what happens when Cronus actually drinks this potion? I'm guessing it's not pretty.
It's pretty rough. He's hit with this intense pain and he throws up, like violently throws up all his children.
Oh, wow.
Just imagine 5 full-grown gods and goddesses suddenly free.
That's one way to make an entrance. But wait, wouldn't they be like babies again after being, well, eaten?
The myths say they emerge fully formed. Like all that time inside Cronus was like a super fast development period.
Okay. So not how I pictured it. But hey, it's a divine power, right? So what happens next? Do they just attack Cronus right then and there?
Their release kind of shifts everything. It goes from trickery to all-out war. Zeus and his siblings declare war on Cronus and the other Titans. This is the Titanomachy, a war that lasted 10 years.
10 years, that's a long time. I mean, longer than most human wars. What was it like?
Think earthquakes, tsunamis, the sky on fire with lightning. It was huge. The sources describe a battle that changed the world.
That's hard to even imagine. But I'm guessing Zeus didn't win just with brute force.
Right. He knew that he needed to make allies, to think strategically. So he frees the Cyclops and the Hecaton shares, who had been imprisoned by Cronus.
The Hecaton shares, those are the ones with, what, 100 hands each?
Yeah, exactly. Each hand capable of incredible destruction. And the Cyclops were expert craftsmen, and out of gratitude for being freed, they forged powerful weapons for the Olympians.
So not just any old weapons, I'm guessing.
Definitely not. We're talking Zeus's thunderbolts, Poseidon's trident, weapons imbued with divine power.
So it's not just raw power that matters, but also technology, strategy.
Exactly. It's a lesson that still holds true. Now picture this final battle. The Olympians with their awesome weapons clashing with the Titans, Poseidon's creating tsunamis, Hades is using his helm of darkness to freak out his enemies, and Zeus is commanding the sky, hurling thunderbolts.
What a scene. And in the middle of it all, you have Cronus facing off against his son, the child he tried so hard to destroy.
It's not just a fight for power, it's symbolic. Cronus represents the old ways, fear and control. And Zeus, he embodies change and a new way of ruling.
So the prophecy comes true. The old order is overthrown. Zeus and the Olympians win. What next? Do they just take a vacation after a 10-year war?
Well, victory creates new challenges, maybe even bigger ones. Now the Olympians have to decide what to do with the defeated Titans. They have to establish a new order for the cosmos, and they need to figure out how to rule without becoming, well, like Cronus.
The real work begins now.
Right, a new world, a new power structure, and the potential for, well, new conflicts. And that's what we'll get into in the final part of our deep dive. The story of the Olympians isn't just about the war, it's also about the aftermath and the challenges of building something new.
Okay, so much more to come. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Last time, we left the Olympians victorious after that epic war with the Titans. But as we all know, winning a war is just the start. Now they have to, figure out what to do next.
Yeah, exactly. They had this huge task in front of them, creating a new order for the cosmos. One that wouldn't repeat the same mistakes, the violence, the tyranny, all that.
So what did they do with the Titans? Did Zeus, forgive and forget, or was it payback time?
Well, most of the Titans were imprisoned, sent to Tartarus, that deep, dark abyss in the underworld, guarded by those 100-handed Hecaton chairs we talked about.
Yeah. So not exactly a relaxing retirement plan.
Not really. It's a reminder that even when you win, there are consequences, tough choices to make.
But not all the Titans were imprisoned, right?
Right. There were a few exceptions, like Prometheus and Epimetheus. Their stories are pretty complicated. We could do a whole deep dive on them sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But the fact that they weren't imprisoned, suggests that maybe Zeus was trying to be, a little more just, maybe. Recognizing that not all Titans were, equally guilty.
Okay, so the Titans are dealt with. Now the Olympians have to figure out how to rule this new world. How did they divide up the power?
It was split into 3 main domains. Zeus, of course, took the sky, became king of the gods. Poseidon got the seas, and Hades, he got the underworld.
Seems pretty logical, but I feel like there's got to be some overlap, right? Where does one domain end and the other begin?
Oh, definitely. It sounds neat and tidy, but it definitely wasn't. What happens when there's a storm, right? Is that Zeus's domain, the sky? Or is it Poseidon's, the sea? And what about the souls of the dead? Whose domain do they fall under?
Yeah, the lines get blurry pretty quickly. So even though it's a new order, it still feels like there's room for conflict, power struggles, rivalries, all that.
Totally. It shows how hard it is to create real, lasting peace. Even with the best intentions, power dynamics can shift. New conflicts emerge.
This whole story makes you think about how power works. It's like, no matter who's in charge, the same problems keep coming up.
It's not just a story about gods and goddesses, right? It reflects our own experiences. The desire for power, betrayal, the struggle to create a better world. These are things we still grapple with today.
So what's the takeaway here? We're not gods fighting for control of the universe, but these stories still, resonate with us. Why?
Yeah. Well, they remind us that power is a double-edged sword. It can be used for good or for evil, and often the people who crave power the most, the ones who try to control everything, they end up losing it in the most dramatic way, like Cronus. It's a warning. You can't build something lasting on fear and control.
And what about Zeus and the Olympians?
It's not a simple happy ending. Their victory shows how hard it is to build a new world, a better world, and how challenging it is to maintain balance and harmony. Real leadership, it's more than just strength. It takes wisdom, compassion, and learning from the mistakes of the past.
So it's not really an ending, but more like a new beginning.
Exactly, full of new challenges and possibilities, and that's what makes these myths so interesting. It's not just escaping into fantasy, it's about exploring big questions about power, justice, what it means to be human.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the rise of the Olympians. We've covered a lot: prophecy, rebellion, cosmic war, a whole new world order. We've seen how power shifts, how new systems emerge. It's been quite a journey.
These myths, they're not just ancient stories. They still speak to us today. They remind us that we all long for meaning, for purpose, for a world that's just and harmonious.
And that's something worth fighting for. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more stories to uncover, so many gods and goddesses to meet. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep your imaginations alive.